Welcome back to another episode of the Fit Family Podcast. We have got a bumper show today, lots to get through, so we're not going to waste any time. Dan, how are you?
Good.
Good. Give the people a bit of an update on your marathon training, which is in, we're 10 weeks out?
Yes, start of November. I'm very excited actually.
Yeah?
I think because this is not my first marathon, although the first one didn't go to plan, I don't know, I don't have the nerves associated with, so I find I'm enjoying the training a lot more.
Yeah, if you want to hear what went wrong on the last one, we did an episode, or it was actually, a couple of years ago now. What a disaster. Anyways, that's good to hear. Is there anything you're doing this time that's different to last time? Because I think, I guess lessons in success and failure are still lessons. So what have been the big changes between this marathon prep compared to last?
Great question. I love it. I am a lot more organised this time. So I have invested in a program. Thank you, Benjamin.
What is this investment? I'm interested in hearing what it is.
So Ben, getting someone else to program for you just allows so much more structure, and it doesn't allow me, even though fitness is my field and I have studied it, it doesn't allow me to steer away from things I don't like.
Second guess as well.
Yeah. So you're going to make me do things that I don't want to do, whereas I would never program that for myself. Also, just being accountable to someone else.
Yeah.
It's massive.
We've already knocked heads a couple of times on it.
We have.
Yeah. You don't quite breast the line in a way I would like. Okay. I'll leave this open to the people. Nod your head if this would annoy you. I told her to run for an hour and a half and she stopped at 1:29:56.
But
No.
No, finish it off. You can't.
And I was like, what the hell's wrong with you?
You have to give context around that. You can't just. So why did I stop at that amount? Because I've got issues and I like to finish on a round number.
Well, guess how long a marathon is.
Yeah, exactly. It's a round number. I'm not running for time.
No, it's 42.2.
I understand.
You're going to stop at 42, are you?
No, but it's 42.2. That's what I'm running for. You didn't tell me to run for 11.2 kilometres.
I told you to run for an hour and a half.
Anyway. Point being, I don't think the minute 30 is going to drastically impact my training, but thank you for your concern.
I've had better clients. If I'm being honest. Yeah, don't take your work home with you, they reckon. Well, here we are. All right. What else have we been doing? So we have, obviously we've experienced a great deal of change within our offerings and our business over the past, since we, started our business, which is 10 years ago now, and it was just purely training. We loved the way training made us feel. We loved coaching it to other people and seeing the way it made them feel. But obviously as we became more experienced in health and fitness and more experienced with our clients as well, our clients have developed and grown through stages of life just as we have, just with the the establishing of families and all sorts of stuff and different challenges and school pickups and just the different logistics in stages of life. And we've seen that just training alone is not enough. It's not enough to sustain people, and sustain them through what are pretty severe times of stress and sleep deprivation and new jobs and new houses and moving and this and all the decisions you have to make as an adult. That in order to be healthy and fit, it extends beyond training 2 or 3 times a week. And our offerings have grown to sort of reflect that over the time with both nutrition coaching, and we've become, I think, a lot more mindful in our, just general approach to health and fitness, and stress management's been such a large part of what we now coach our clients on.
Sleep.
Yeah, sleep, and, just controlling more of the pillars of health as opposed to, correct squat and push-up technique. And we've now expanded that to include a new offering, stepping into the realms of corporate wellness. We see this as a huge need, and I'll let you expand on this further, obviously being a lot more experienced in the corporate field than me. But yeah, I guess I'd like to hear from you in your own mind, when you started to think that this was a bit of a problem in the marketplace, and where we can step in and hopefully lend a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, so obviously you've mentioned the changes that have happened in our business. So in our lives, and hence our business, because our business is a massive part of our lives. I understand it's probably a little bit different to most people. Most people go off to work, and work is work, and they can come home, and home is home. Whereas, it really is very integrated for us. And we learnt a lot, especially during COVID, which led me back into a space that wasn't so integrated, I guess. So going from working with you and our family every single day to then going back into an organisation, in the corporate world. So obviously wellness being front of mind for me, given everything we've done over the last 10 years, I guess just witnessing what goes on in, let's call it, normal working life. I found it quite intriguing just observing people's behaviour in terms of how they looked after themselves, how the company managed or didn't manage, cared or didn't care about the actual individual that performs, I guess, the work that is required. So over the years, I've worked for various people in various departments, and obviously that impacted my experience as an individual. But I guess the biggest thing that kind of caught me was witnessing the impact on other people and their wellness as they were put in high stress situations. That's what happens in business. That's what people get paid to deal with. But I did find it interesting that sometimes that individual's health and well-being was not overly considered. And when I say considered, everyone has a different perspective and chooses to manage things differently. So for example, if we look at our house and how we eat, how we move, what we do, what we practice, we think is geared towards giving us the best chance of being happy and healthy. Now, to other people, that may not necessarily look the way it does to us.
No.
Okay, so their perceived happy and healthy could look very different to what we do.
Yep.
And that's okay, and that's the same in business. But I think the disconnect between business strategy and implementing that and the actual people that get that done, the massive gap, I was just, I can't even think of the word.
Taken aback.
Yeah, I really was. I really was. So it was a chat with someone quite senior in the business, and he's actually been one of my biggest mentors in life. And I was voicing some concerns about wellness of some employees that I was witnessing. And he said a comment to me that really stuck with me. And it was about someone else quite senior in the business. And he said they're thinking about the work and not the people. And I was so quick to reply that the people are the work. So businesses obviously are there to make money.
Yep.
And they have people that specialize in various areas because they're really good at what they do. They've studied that stream and they are the SMEs. They are the experts in that space.
Can you explain SMEs for non-corporate people,
They
please?
are the subject matter experts. They know what they're doing, and you need to trust that they know what they're doing.
Sure.
So looking after those individuals' health and well-being will allow them to deliver their area of expertise.
Yeah, optimizing the environment to get a higher level of performance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to purely think about the work and not the person performing the work, to me seems like
A recipe for disaster.
yeah, or just a lost opportunity as well. People that are happy and healthy are going to want to give you a lot more.
When people feel, looked after, motivated, valued.
And
Yeah.
why do people work? People work for things outside of work.
Yeah, absolutely. Work to provide, or work to, like to further their own ambition, or, for whatever reason, it's completely individual to them. But no one likes to go to a place where, they feel is a net negative on their life, or they feel is a bit of a, every time they go, it's like a withdrawal on their mental health, or their self-esteem, or their self-confidence, or whatever it is. And yeah, I think, not every workplace is the same, clearly. And I'm a little bit out of my depth speaking about workplaces because I've known only a few. But yeah, I mean, just from the stories I've heard from clients, like the difference between clients who are happy in their work and those who aren't is enormous. Like it's not a fine margin, it's a huge margin. And from the outside looking in as well, it doesn't feel as though there's like it's a massive intervention for workplaces to take to just improve that, to then get the most out of their people, which obviously fuels their number one requirement, which is to turn a profit. So yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to add too much more than that, but I think you've nailed it.
Yeah. Well, I think over the years as well, you've seen my challenges personally. Like you said, we speak to people daily about the challenges they experience, and a lot of it does have to do with what is happening in their workplace. You spend so much time there.
Yeah.
And people are so invested in what they do. They're passionate about what they do. And when they don't feel valued, that does impact their performance. So if we put on our business hat now and say, okay, well, if people aren't happy and it's impacting their performance, it's also costing us. So, and like you just said about businesses and bottom lines, well, if it's costing you, and employees are generally the biggest expense for most businesses.
Yeah,
so how can they optimize that? What is the story behind that number? Also something else my mentor taught me, like understanding the story behind, okay, we're investing so much in our people, but what? Is that just a take-home salary?
Yeah.
Like, what is that you're investing in your people?
Yeah. So let's break down the actual, I guess, common corporate structures in regards to wellness, because from my perspective, some of it does feel a little bit tokenistic in the way of like it's there but it's not really encouraged. Like you told me about, what is it called, EAPs?
Oh yeah, employee assistance programs.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you want to go?
No, that's all right. You go.
Okay. I did find that interesting, and obviously given the path we're going down now and looking at bringing our product to market, we have been looking at various products that are already out there and what businesses currently offer or promote to their employees. And quite common for employee assistance programs to actually have a model similar to a Globo gym. So basically you sign up to our services and we will provide XYZ. So most often the services provided are not proactive. It's more kind of like once you're already in trouble. So services like counselling.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing when employees are struggling. It does obviously vary outside of that.
Yeah.
A lot of people offer discounts with various providers and that kind of thing. But the organisation actually pay based on like a subscription that only a certain amount of employees use that product.
Yeah, it's sort of like a retainer if you had like a lawyer and it's like, we've got this guy but we really don't ever want to use him, sort of thing. Exactly.
So, and then once your employees do start utilising that, that is then when the additional costs kick in.
It's sort of like a surcharge.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've come at it from a bit of a different perspective with the product we're going to market with, in terms of it's a proactive product. So it's looking about investing in your employees before something's wrong.
it very much speaks to our overall philosophy when it comes to health and wellness, which is like intentions are great, but they get you nowhere. You know, like it's all based on action. And even if your action isn't perfect, that actual, you know, the behavioral piece behind taking action is like, you'll get it right eventually. So you just have to invest a little bit of time in making a move compared to, you know, just purely thinking about it. You know, and a lot of clients will have heard that spiel before, but you know, it's just like, just launch in and do something, and then you can figure out what that something is later. You know,
Yeah.
make sure it's perfect for you, you know, down the track compared to straight off the bat. Like, just get moving first.
Yeah, something is always better than nothing. Just
Yeah.
like when employees say, what's the best exercise? What's the best thing to eat? What's the best? The
Yeah.
best thing for you to do is something that you can consistently do.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
something you can do for more than one day.
Yeah.
And, you know, something you can build on. Something that's going to work for you. People get so caught up in what works for other people that they disregard all of their challenges in life and what they're actually trying to achieve, which comes to the first point of our process of our product, I guess, is we come in and we identify what is the current state. People always know where they want to be. I want to be a size 6. I want to be 60 kilos. I want to be, okay,
Running a marathon.
running a marathon.
Squatting my body weight.
Squatting my body weight. That's great. That's awesome. We all need to have goals. But people often don't spend enough time in that discovery phase, or where we're calling it identify. So come in and actually collect the data. And like you're saying, this is what we do in everything, in all of our coaching. So whether that be where we're physically PTing someone, if we're going through our one-on-one nutrition program, we spend so much time collecting that data and trying to understand that person. Where are you currently at?
You need to understand the foundations.
Absolutely. So we perform a wellness audit, and we come into any organization and we basically start collecting data directly from the employees. Okay, so understanding where they're currently at, and then discussing with the business the strategy for the organization to optimize the performance of their employees. So whatever business people are in, they're obviously really good at it if they're a successful business. But let us come in and help us optimize your people to help you deliver that. So based on that outcome of that audit, that's when we go into then offer a range of packages to assist. And again, that's all our recommendations are based on that business. So we've kind of got a three phase offering, I guess, starting at our most basic, which we've called the virtual. And this is geared at organizations that want most of the communications to be through an online forum. And this is where we've had the most experience so far.
Yeah.
And I might hand over to you about a finance business that we've been working with for a while now. How long?
2 years?
Yeah, a couple of years now.
Yes.
And
certainly in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, it is a virtual only package, and it's basically providing information to employees that are relevant for that business, or something that's relevant to that business at that time, having constant communications with certain people in that organization to see what they want for their employees.
Yeah, for sure. So I think a large part of the workings that we've done with the business we work with at the moment is purely based around generating awareness and making sure that the employees know that wellness is, you know, important to the business and that their wellness is valued. And one of the easiest ways that you can do that is literally just by promoting it more, you know, like making sure that, you know, in this case, it's a newsletter every week where it's like, this is important. It comes on a Friday morning. Our business values this, and we are delivering information to our employees every week that is relevant to the demographic, relevant to busy people, to make sure that they know that their wellness efforts are encouraged here. And, you know, like, it is as simple as that. Like, you know, the old saying of, you know, don't talk about it, be about it. You know, like, well, this is just how this business is being about it. It's making sure that it's not just something that they talk about, but like, here it is, we're presenting it to you, and we're making sure that you know it's important to us, and therefore will be important to, you know, everyone in the workplace.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And also having access to ask questions to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we provide the information, but hey, if you're unsure, we're available to you. So people are often, like, obviously when you read stuff online and that kind of thing, it can sometimes leave you wondering, oh, what if this, what if that? How can I, you know, implement this for me? Whereas having access to coaches, I think, is so important.
Yeah, and it's a low barrier to entry. Like, it's, I mean, you know, we can expand off, I guess, into like internet trolls, but there's a level of safety from, you know, the keyboard. So it's like, if you do have a question, it's not as though you have to go out of your way and head to a local gym and call a trainer, or, you know, like, that's a level of investment in finding the answer, where it's just an easy email back. What are your thoughts on this? And we can get to it. You know, what are your thoughts on that? Have you heard of this? I'd like more information on this. Like, we're now at a stage of our, you know, of our kind of personal development in regards to fitness and nutrition, that over 10 years there's not much we haven't kind of come across yet. And especially when we're so invested in, I guess, our demographic of working parents and, you know, busy professionals, is there is a large crossover between, you know, like, a lot of people in the demographic, and we've dealt with numerous ways of tackling similar issues. And the magic with health and fitness is always in the implementation, and not necessarily the information. The information's on Google. It has been for years. It's always well, how does it work for me? You know, like, in my unique circumstance, how can I make this work for me? And that's what all of our newsletters are geared at. It's breaking down the science into simple, actionable habits or behaviors that, you know, we explain how they work, why they work, and then how to make them work for you in the least invasive way possible. And that's basically how we come up with all of our content. It's not just enough to explain what it is. It has to be explained in a way that's easy for people to understand, and then action.
Yeah. Also, we've identified to do that, like, is there something going on in that organization at that time that has to do with health and well-being that we can then speak to? So I think that's really important, always having that connection back to the business and the health and well-being together. As part of this new program, we have introduced our training programs, which are delivered via TrueCoach, which is our training software. So being able to provide that to the employees, as well as some exclusive health and wellness products and services, which we provide to all of our members.
Beautiful.
All right, so that's our recommendations. Then we sit with the business to then quantify. So obviously, if you want to see if something's working, and we say this to clients all the time. If you want to
manage it, it needs to be measured.
It needs to be measured. So again, working with the business, we don't want to come in and say, okay, we are going to measure X. No, well, it's not up to us. It's not our business. We're here to look after your people. What do you want to measure? So identifying those key indicators, I guess, with the organization, you know, whether that be employee morale, you know, if they want to provide us data, we could then look at certain performance measures. Again, that's all got to do with the business that we're working with. After we agree on all that, we then implement. So actually working with the employees on a regular basis, speaking back to that initial strategy we spoke about with the organization, and then reporting. So the analysis based on the agreed performance measures is something that we do on a monthly basis with that organization.
Yeah.
So just so pumped to finally have something.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work.
It has been a lot of work, and we couldn't have done it without so many people. We've had amazing support. You guys all know who you are. You've helped us so much, you know, whether it be
the presentation or the information.
helping us with the content, personally supporting us, obviously the transition for myself, leaving the corporate world and then taking the leap into kind of trusting that we've got a good enough product to go to market. It's been very humbling. So yeah, thank you to everyone that's helped.
Beautiful. All right. Corporate wellness. Interesting little venture. All right. Moving on. So we've got a few questions from the community this week and a couple which I really like, and I'm interested to get your take on them, Dan, because we do often differ a little bit with the best of intentions. As we said, the science is the same. The implementation's always slightly different based on what's worked for us and what we've seen work for our clients. So let's get cracking. First question, is butter better than Nutellex and margarines?
It's Nutellex, Ben.
Oh, is it? See, there you go. I've never even had it. Is butter better than Nutellex and margarines? You go first.
Okay, well, what are you trying to achieve? And I think this is always where people go wrong. Like, what is right, what is wrong? Well, hang on. What are you trying to do? Are you lactose intolerant?
Do you have high cholesterol?
Are you trying to reduce your calories? Are you trying to get a calorie deficit? Are you trying to lose weight? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so coming back to, finding the foundations and, finding that baseline and where you're at and what you'd like to achieve. But let's just say, generally speaking, a person who wants to shift 5 to 10 kgs, not in a very quick timeline, and just wants to improve their nutrition quality, is it better?
Health, 100%. I'd go butter every day of the week.
Yeah, every day of the week. And even if your goal was fat loss, I'd still go butter, to be honest.
Yeah, unless there were intolerances you were dealing with, and that kind of thing.
I think with ingredients like this, and if it's not butter, it'll be dark chocolate versus milk chocolate, or it'll be something like, you kind of are splitting hairs a little bit, but also the poison's in the dose. So like if you just spread a bit of butter on your toast, like no big deal. If you're cutting off chunks of it and there sometimes does need to be a little bit more thought into like, actually how much of my nutrition is like, is this a large factor?
What's the impact?
Is this a large factor in my day-to-day intake, or is this something relatively minor that I am potentially wasting a little bit too much time on? Like the overall, I guess, nutrition is more important than just individual choices occasionally.
Agree. The point I would like to make is, if you are always making decisions based on health, if you try and simplify it, try and stick to whole foods over anything processed. Yeah, as a general rule, for sure. As a general rule, the less processed something is, the better it's going to be, and the more it is naturally geared to support your body's natural processes. Thank you.
It's like she's
I was
stumbling
like,
through it.
oh goodness, what's that last word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
So, for example, we were talking about sex hormones earlier.
Glad you added hormones, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No.
How old are you? He's just started blushing, guys, and now he can't talk. So the more we go towards processed products in the market, the less it supports our body's natural processes. So we're talking about saturated fats in this example. And as we introduce products that don't support our natural processes, the higher your chance is that other things could potentially go wrong. Would you say that that's a fair assumption?
Yeah, it's a fair assumption. Yeah, like I agreed with your initial point. Like in general, like whole foods are typically best. You'll feel better on them. Obviously, if there's no underlying medical conditions, that would come first. But generally speaking, whole foods can't go wrong.
So, for example, fat's a great one to be talking about, because fat is obviously, it costs us more in terms of calories.
Actually, before you go on that, the next question is it better to have quality full fat or low fat items?
Okay, so it'll kind of tie in then.
Yes, so you're about to get onto that. Yeah.
So when we talk fats, yes, we want quality.
Yeah.
because our body needs fats,
Yeah.
right, to do certain processes.
Yeah.
And again, we won't go into it. We don't have all day. We could talk about it all day.
Improves cell quality, sex hormone production, all that type of stuff, inflammation, anti-inflammation.
So we need it.
Yep.
But because of the way we view fat in our society, if you think about every second product is geared at weight loss.
Yep.
Removing fats from a diet
Yeah.
are an easy way to reduce overall calories.
Yeah, because 1 gram of fats breaks down into 9 calories compared to 4 calories for proteins and carbs. So it is double the energy density and then some of other macronutrients in nutrition.
Double. Does not mean our bodies do not need them.
No.
And when we have them, the quality fats support the processes.
Yep. Absolutely. They're also very satiating. They make you full. You know, there's a lot of benefits to it. I think my only point with this is that sometimes, you know, and again, this is a case by case basis, but the health benefits to a lot of people in our society at the moment, obviously with the stats around overweight and obesity and stuff like that, like, would it be better to have some lower fat items which would enable you to drop 10, 15, 20, however many kilos? Would the health benefits of dropping that weight outweigh the health benefits of having full fat mozzarella on your pizza compared to reduced fat? And it's like, in a lot of cases, I think probably, but it doesn't mean that, you know, like the actual cheese is better or worse. It's just like the overall outcome is going to be beneficial, provided you can stick to it.
Also, taking that wider lens and that holistic view, and we often look at behaviors when we're doing our nutrition coaching. It's highly geared at behavior and what you're doing, and having that education piece behind that behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are we all obese?
Well, yes, and that's the management of people's nutrition as well. But it's like,
of course, we can look at, okay, we're eating, you know, let's look at someone's meal plan.
Yeah.
And we can change everything to low fat and they will lose weight.
Yeah.
But to me as a nutrition coach, is that success? That they've lost 5 kilos and they're still eating the exact same thing in low fat, high chemically processed? No. Are they healthier human beings? Probably a little bit. They're lighter. So they've reduced their risk in certain...
Yeah, well, you can improve one aspect of your health, but also potentially drop away in another. You know, like that's... Yeah, it's too simplistic to say that just because you lose weight, you'll be healthy. I mean, obviously, if you go at the other end of the spectrum, it can be extremely unhealthy for a large part of the population to just focus on weight loss. I think it's about... You know, I mean, there's that word again. It's like it can be a decent strategy, but it all depends on the person and the implementation. So... It's really too hard a question to just say yes or no, because it depends on the person. But I'm going to leave it at that. It depends on the person.
No, 100% it does. The person, what they're trying to achieve. All I'm saying is, if we are talking about overall health, you need to go a lot deeper than that, and it does come down to behaviors. What do our bodies need? What do our bodies actually need to be fueled, rather than coming at it,
and our psychology around it as well. Yeah,
from a weight loss perspective, because that's all it is. Like we eat all these highly processed, highly palatable food that then requires the market for all these weight loss products, which although they are helping you lose weight, they aren't geared to optimizing your health.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of these cases, you're spot on. Like, it's clearly not working. But that's the education around it as well. And as you touched on with our programs, it is largely education, and then the way we view things, it's perspective, it's psychology, which I know sounds a little bit, tanning naked in the backyard in the dirt, sort of Byron-based stuff, but it is super, super important.
If I have been through quite a few nutrition coaching students that we have never calorie counted.
Yeah.
And they have seen incredible success.
Transformational success, some would say.
So the fact that, we take that simplistic approach from the start.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that comes down to society and an easy way to manage, and people like to be told what to do so they don't have to think.
Yeah.
I want you to think.
We want generals, not soldiers. Generals.
I want this to be forever for you.
Yeah.
I want to check in with you 10 years down the track and hear that you're smashing life. Not that you've gained everything I helped you
You're
with.
smashing butter and not Nutellex. That's it. Yeah, so, I mean, long story short, it depends, but mainly full fat is going to be better, for your health in the long run, for sure.
Clearly, we're passionate about health, guys.
Yeah. But you're spot on, though. Like, there's too much of a fascination on the quick fix. And, I guess our little TikTok brains with our 10s heckin' videos can't handle any kind of nuance in a discussion. But if you ever speak to a coach and they tell you that their way is the only way or the best way, huge red flag.
Yep.
Like, if you speak to someone and you ask them a nutrition question and they don't have intimate knowledge on your behaviors and your practices, if their answer isn't, it depends, then you know they're not a good coach. Because any good coach would know that you need to zoom out and know far more about a person and what they do to actually, make any kind of proper assessment and offer any kind of proper advice. You need to know so much about a person before you can say, yeah, I think that's good. Like, the amount of times that people ask me, like, oh, is avocado good? And I'm like, well, I don't, yeah, of course. Like, yeah. It depends. And yes, so just a little side note there. I think it's really important. All right, question for Danielle. How to not hate your body whilst you're training to get results?
This made me sad. I know this person very well. I have for a long time. How many years? Long time.
Nearly 10. Oh, more. Yeah. 13.
Have been inspired personally by this person.
Yeah, gangster.
And I just... No one's body has your story. So for anyone to hate their body, I find quite sad.
Yeah. Hate's a strong word as well.
Hate is such a strong word.
Yeah.
And this person has just been messaging us about an amazing trip that was quite physically challenging that she was completing with her adult daughter. And my first thought was...
How awesome.
I hope that I am doing that when I am that person's age with my kids. That was my first thought. Just like, how cool. I want to be like this person. And then we got that question. So this person is a highly, highly successful professional.
Yeah, high achiever.
High achiever, has 3 children, 3 amazing kids, and I consider a very good athlete.
Yeah, same. I would agree.
So, I'm going to call this person after
Yes.
and have a bit of a chat, because I think it all comes down to your mindset. And I was speaking to some friends yesterday, actually, quite funny, about myself and my own body, I guess, and saying that, like, it's not perfect. Like, it's like, no, I don't have a 6-pack, but am I happy? Yes, I am. Because my story of, having a young family and being busy and working and running a business, and this is the best my body can be given all my challenges. I work out daily. I feel good. I have high energy. And like I'm happy. Like, this is the best version of me. I'm not going to look like I looked when I was 20 years old.
I think just a point there as well is, like, if you're expecting to live a life without any type of insecurity, about your physique, then you are going to be disappointed, because not a single person in the world doesn't have something about the way they look that if you gave them the option, they wouldn't change. Doesn't mean they're upset all the time, but like guaranteed there is something that we may look on the outside and say, like how strong, how able, lean, whatever it is that you admire about a person's physicality, they'd be able to tell you like, yeah, but my nose is a bit big, or just something like that. And I think it's like as soon as I realized that, I was just like, oh, okay. Like it almost, like chasing perfection or chasing your idea of perfection in your own mind. And when you realize it doesn't exist and that it doesn't exist for anyone, it's like, what a fruitless pursuit that is. Like I could instead focus on other things, like all the stuff I can do. And it's just a perspective. But yeah, it's a really hard one, because you can't tell people how to think, and you can't tell, no matter how many times you tell someone, and all true stuff about how awesome it is, the stuff that they're doing, how amazing it is, like all sorts of, like, they will still have that nagging in the back of their mind. And, to have insecurities is to be human in my eyes. It doesn't make them right. I'm not certainly not an expert in this field, but yeah, it's a really challenging one, in the way we view ourselves and how, I guess our power to kind of change or not change that.
My nana always said that, if we were all the same in this world, it would be so boring. And just remember that, like I said, no one's body has your story. And the things that make us unique are why people like you.
Yeah.
If we were all the same, then like what? We'd all be attracted to the same people. We'd all, like, it just doesn't make sense. We'd all have the same friendship groups.
Yeah. I remember coaching a client a couple of years ago, and she was uber quick to tell me all the stuff that she didn't like about her physique and wanted to improve her nutrition to, like lose weight and feel better, more confident, all that stuff that we can all relate to. And then I said, oh yeah, like after about 5 minutes of hearing her smash almost everything about her, I said, oh yeah, cool. So what's something that you do like about your body? And she was like stumped for 5 minutes. There was not a single thing that she could say. And I wasn't even after an aesthetic answer. Like a perfectly fine answer to me would have been, the ability to raise a family or to do anything, or, to be active at the age, or literally anything, and had nothing. And I was just like, that's a stressful, like quite a depressing way to think, where it's like always so down, when from the outside looking in, I was like, so much that you can do, so much that you've got to be thankful for. Like I could have written a huge list, as we could about almost anyone. And I think the way, it's just a perspective, and the way we view it doesn't mean that there isn't going to be stuff that, like, you don't have to be ignorant and, totally ignore stuff that you're not ecstatic about, but don't get bogged down in it. Like quickly turn it around and say, but I can still do this, and I'll make it, and I'm feeling good about my ability to make improvements in this area, and I'm doing that, and I'm being proactive with that. I don't know, it's just,
again, bringing it back to our coaching, whether that be training or nutrition. We're huge on celebrating the wins.
Absolutely.
And everyone has a win.
Positive reinforcement, far more motivating than negative reinforcement.
Yeah, we all have wins.
Yeah.
And we all have opportunities. Don't let those opportunities, like, that's exactly what they are. It's an opportunity. I want to be better every single day. Every day. Doesn't mean I hate where I'm currently at. Yeah,
of course. It's a healthy perspective. But yeah, it's a really challenging area to be in, and an incredibly draining mindset to be locked in, if that is the case. Last one, because we've rabbited on for ages. All right. How to beat the premenstrual energy slump and food cravings. I'm always so hungry in the lead up to my period and feeling totally zapped.
Ooh, I love this so much.
All right, so a couple of things. When you are heading towards your period, it is likely that your metabolic rate will be increased. How much for each individual person, really hard to tell, but everyone will kind of experience this in a different way. So that means that, let's say you roughly maintain your weight at about 1800 calories a day. And if you are maintaining your weight at that level, then you're going to then, let's say around, the time of your menstruation, your metabolism could increase to 2000. All of a sudden, no wonder you feel hungry, is because you are now in a calorie deficit without even realizing. So it's one of those things where it could be mitigated just by, an extra snack in the time that that you feel hungry. If it's affecting your sleep, obviously that's going to improve. That's going to affect your hunger hormones as well, and your signaling there. There are multiple things that this could be, but to feel hungry around this time is normal, and often just the inclusion around a snack can make a huge, huge difference.
Oh my gosh, so good, Ben. You just spoke gold right then. We have lost the ability to intuitively eat. And it blows my mind that people want to be told it's okay to have a snack.
Yeah. But intuition's based on education too. Like, if you've lost confidence in your ability to intuitively eat, it's because your health might take a step back every time you do so.
But why has society become this way, that we don't intuitively eat? Because of all the stuff we add into foods.
Here we
that
go.
Make us want to eat more.
Here we
that have
go.
made us all obese. Like, we can't now trust our body. No one trusts their bodies, how they're feeling. A lot of the stuff, again, with coaching. How full are you? Do people ask that question? You're asking me how many calories to eat. How do you feel when you're eating? Do you eat until you're feeling gross? Do you undereat? Are you still hungry when you finish a meal? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? Are you happy?
Yeah.
So asking ourselves how we actually feel after a action. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
eat, are we full?
Yeah.
We exercise, do we feel good? People don't ask that, but they're happy for someone to tell them.
But a lot of that time, that comes down to confidence in their own ability to kind of self-manage their nutrition. And for a lot of people, the confidence in their ability, rightfully so, is not there. Because whenever I'm not concentrating on my nutrition, I gain weight, or I get sick, or I have low energy, or I'm not paying attention, compared to people who have been through our programs, who have a better relationship with food and a better ability to kind of self-monitor these things. I know, I've had a busy period. Maybe I've just, not been as diligent or disciplined as I once was, but I know what it is I need to change. Like, their ability to manage their nutrition is far greater. But, you are right. But, I mean, look at the evidence in the community. It's like, why would you have any confidence on your ability to manage your nutrition when your health may be in the state it is? So you need to build that confidence through delivering the proof to yourself that you can do it over a long period of time. Like, confidence comes from successful action.
And this person, you are very successful.
Yeah, you should have confidence.
You should have confidence, and I want you to trust yourself.
Yeah, bloody star.
Superstar.
All right, anything to add?
No, I've spoken too much.
You have.
I got too passionate. I'm sorry, guys.
I've done my head in. All right. See you next time.
Bye.